So at this point, I actually want to take a look at doing some password attacks using Burp Suite. And the first thing I need to do is I need to go to a web page, and we're going to effectively seed Burp Suite with some data that it's going to be able to use. So we're bringing up the damn vulnerable web application, and I'm just going to plug some bogus values in here just so we can generate a request. And now I'm going to minimize this. I'm going to go over to Burp Suite. So I've got my request here with my username and password, and you can see the two parameters down here, as well as the login button that was submitted. So now I'm going to right click on that, and I'm going to send this off to the intruder. Now I'm going to go to the intruder tab over here, and now we've got the target tab here, and we've got the host and the port. And the important thing here is the positions. It's flagged some parameters that it thinks it can actually do some manipulation with. So it's actually found the security, and it's found the PHP session ID, and I actually want to clear that one, and then I'm going to clear this one as well. And we'll clear the login button because we don't need that. So I've got my username and password. Those are my payload positions. And I'm going to do a cluster bomb attack here. The reason I'm doing a cluster bomb as opposed to a sniper is going to give me the ability to use one payload. And that payload could be like a username, a list of users. So I really need to have the ability to specify two payloads, and that's actually going to be my cluster bomb attack. So now I'm going to go over to payloads, and I'm going to specify what each one is. And I've got my payload set 1, and you can see over here, this is my first position, and this is my second position. So my payload set 1 is going to be my username. So I'm going to use a simple list here, and we're going to add a list of usernames. And I actually want to, I'm going to add admin. And now in my payload set 2, which if we go back over to positions, that's my password. So now I can set a simple list here as well, and I can add in passwords. And we're just going to add in password here. So I'm going to add that. So now it's really just as simple as actually running the attack. I could do some additional payload processing. I could add some rules here like adding prefixes, suffixes, doing some replacing, doing some case modification, encoding, decoding. There's a lot of different processing rules I could add. In this case, all I really want to do is I want to plug in usernames and passwords into the two fields and see if we can find a username and password combination. So I'm going to go up to intruder, and I'm going to start the attack. Now you can see that we've got a very large number of combinations between the username and the password. We've got to check every username against every password and vice versa. So we've got a lot of requests that we're going to end up making. And you can see we get 302s. I'm actually going to make this a little bit larger so we can see here. And you can see I've got the request, and I can take a look at the response. That's the raw response, and what I get is a 302 found. And we can just take a look at the headers over here as well. So we're going to keep getting 302s, and eventually it should end up hitting on the right username and password combination after it's run through all of these. And it does take some time to run through all of these requests. And this is on my local network. If you were doing this over a wide area network like the internet, for example, you would probably be running a little bit slower than this. Of course, depends on the bandwidth that you've got. It depends on the capacity of the server, how fast it is, all of those sorts of things. But there are a lot of requests to be made here. Looks like, what do we got? Something like 30 million requests to make, and that's just going to take some time. But that's how you would do some brute force password checking using Burp Suite. You would use the intruder, and you would use a cluster bomb attack and set your payload positions to the username and password lists. And of course, you could actually specify your own lists if that's what you wanted to do, but Burp Suite does include a username list and a password list just as part of the package that you get with Burp Suite. So that's how you would do password checking and guessing using Burp Suite.